Instagram fam? I'm back to share my revelation for Matthew chapter 2. Just a brief summary. Matthew chapter 2 was the birth of Jesus and how there was a king named King Herod who didn't want someone to overtake him. So when he found out that the Messiah was being born, he told the wise men that show me where this baby boy named Jesus will be born so I can go and worship him. But that was deception. I wrote a couple of notes, so I'm just gonna share my personal revelation. So in the beginning, it speaks in verse 2, it speaks about, for we saw his star at its rising and we have come to worship him. So it made me know that Jesus had a star. So the way I interpret it as was everyone has a star. Our star is our glory, our calling, and just yeah. So as I said, there was deception by King Herod where he tried deceiving the wise men. The wise men were people of God that when the angel of the Lord told them where the Messiah was going to be born, like there were people who knew scriptures. They bringing gifts, and the way that they did that was they followed the star to see where Jesus was being born. And just the concept of gifts, it gave me the revelation that that this is how baby showers came about, because they waited after the baby were born to bring gifts, to my knowledge. And for the wise men, it was important to have sensitivity on how the wise men were warned not to go back. And they were warned by an angel. And Joseph was warned by an angel to flee Egypt. And both of them were warned in a dream. And that shows me the importance of dreams. That showed me how God was speaking to them through dreams. And to touch upon that, when looking at chapter 1 to chapter 2, just seeing how God spoke to Joseph in dreams made me have the revelation of being able to know how God speaks to you, because Joseph was warned in a dream Joseph was warned in a dream to flee to Egypt, and then he was warned in a dream to go back after King Herod had died. And Joseph being warned in a dream, he did not question or hesitate when God spoke. And that's very powerful, because a lot of us, when God tends to speak to us, we tend to doubt, or we tend to just like delay being obedient, and delayed obedience is disobedience. So like that's what I really liked about Joseph. And the reason why Joseph had to flee was because King Herod was trying to kill the baby boys, because the wise men never went back to him to tell him who the Messiah was. So that part reminds me of the story of Moses, because as we all know that like Moses, he had to be placed in a basket and by a river, because they were trying to kill baby boys. And this verse that I like was, those who intended to kill the child are dead. And that was the God of vengeance. That was the God, that was the loving God. That was the protecting Father. And Jesus' beginning stage of life, he was fleeing and he was going from town to town. So like he didn't really have a steady home in the beginning, but then he was able to settle in Nazareth. Yeah, and him being able to settle in Nazareth is why we call him Jesus of Nazareth. So this was a little bit long. Please bear with me, but I pray that you were able to enjoy this revelation, and I'll see you tomorrow for chapter 3. Bye.